You know, with my boosted reading and learning time lately, I keep stumbling on inspiration that feels so divinely timed, I just can't keep it to myself. So, as we wrap up the foundation of legacy, L.E.G.A.C.Y, I want to share how future episodes will build on these principles. Sometimes we'll look at current events. Sometimes we'll draw from personal or tribal experiences. And sometimes even from great leaders, past and present, or even future. Always with one aim, though, here to inspire you to lead with legacy in mind. Remember, in it for the long haul. And today, let's begin with a crucial idea. Front line obsession. Hashtag FLO or flow. Coincidence? I think not. Because no leader can scale alone. The best leaders, whether they're founders or not, adopt an owner mindset and empower their people, their mates, to make the right call for the tribe's greater good through trust. Yes, no leader can scale alone. Not me, not you, not even the greatest leaders in history were able to do that. If we want to grow and scale up and endure, we need a mindset that vibes with frontline obsession. This idea comes straight out of the Founder's Mentality book, a book that I've been reading lately. Great companies scale because their leaders obsess with and over empowering the front line, the people closest to the client, the people closest to the problem, or even the opportunity, right? Scaling isn't just about more systems or more production. It's about trust, first and foremost. It's about empowering people to make the right call for the tribe's greater good. And when that is achieved, we have lower stress too. Now, here's a real example. We've had a few clients lately, more than we probably would like, and their trusted advisors who are supporting and serving them, really pushing hard for faster, easier processes, and getting things turned around quicker. Sometimes their delivery can feel abrasive, even threatening, like we've had clients say, if you can't meet this, I'll have to go elsewhere. That's tough. But underneath that tone is a truth. If our sales and marketing and client folks can spend less energy fighting bottlenecks and inefficiencies for their needs, they can focus more on what they do best, serving and selling and putting up their structures and then supporting and voicing how great the experience is or was. And it all starts with that new friend. If we don't have anything to produce, what are we going to do? But that's frontline obsession. Listening past the deliveries, hearing the truth in the message, and then pushing smarter to find ways to remove friction so people can do their best work. Now, I know and realize there's no magic wand for this. We've been looking for one for years, but you have to work through this. But there is positive, optimistic patience too, right? Remember the gap that creates the answers with a side hustle of doing and working, right? Or hashtag POP, P-O-P, positive optimistic patience, let we call this. The reality is many clients can't see past their own immediate situation and stressors, and that's totally understandable. That's why it's on us to rise and serve with a clarity, with a compassion, and as much action as we can muster with the resources that we have. Thinking about Gary Vaynerchuk, know him, Gary V? He's brash, sure, but his core message is this: you don't build culture by words. You build it by putting people in a position to succeed. That's basically frontline obsession. Hire fast, fire fast if they ain't working, but promote fastest. Or Simon Sinek, who reminds us the true price of leadership is the willingness to place the needs of others above our own. Empowering the front line is exactly that, placing their needs so they can serve better with trust. You know what? And even Marcus Aurelius, oh, we love us some Marcus Aurelius, right? Nearly 2,000 years ago said, a man's true worth is measured by the objects he pursues. Leaders who pursue control will shrink. Leaders who pursue empowering their people multiply their own legacy. Now, frontline obsession doesn't mean handing over the keys to the kingdom. No, it's not that we're talking about. It doesn't mean chaos either. It means creating an environment, a culture where the person closest to the action can say with calm and confidence, I know what's the right thing to do here, and I have permission to do it. And sometimes that can even be the client himself or herself, hence putting them in control of their build. Sound familiar for us miracle makers in the audience? Because honestly, if every small decision has to go all the way to the top, we're not really leading a team. We're running a very slow suggestion box. So here's our challenge. Let's listen past the deliveries of the comments that we hear and hear the truth in the message. As one frontline teammate, ask one frontline teammate, what's one thing we could change that would help you do your best work? And then listen, of course. And then also, if it's in the tribe's greater good, empower them to act on it and set that precedent so they will know how to get there if it happens again. That's what builds trust. That's what builds loyalty and momentum that can scale. And that's what we're looking for. We need to serve more clients with more quality work. Frontline obsession is more than a management tactic, you see. It's really a servant leadership mindset. It's about empowering others and ourselves, trusting the process, and remembering that no leader, no matter how talented, can scale this alone. So let's lead with fairness and love and accountability, yes, and trust, and multiply our legacy by lifting others to lead with us. Make sense? You know what? Because in the end, the real legacy is you. And that's how it works.